Beep, 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 beep. Here we are, folks. Once again, let us begin.
Hello.
Beep, 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 beep. Here we are, folks. Once again, let us begin.
We did a member survey early last year. It was quite specific though. So we'd been asked a question from our exec sponsor, which was what would good look like at NHS England if they were getting LGBTQIA plus inclusion right. I feel that they already have those answers, but I said that I would ask members, and so we included it in the member survey. We also asked people what did they expect from an executive sponsor as well, so that we could offer some feedback to them around what the expectations are. And then we asked a final question, which was, what do you think the network should be focusing on? It was really interesting. We had some really wonderful results. We had some very interesting results. And I think what was really clear to me is that we did need to kind of set the boundaries out for some members around what staff networks are able to do and what they're not able to do. And unfortunately, as often the way is, we have as much power as the organisation allows us to have power. And there are just some things that we really can't influence and control. I will kind of cover some of those in a moment. But these generally were the areas of focus. And again, when you look at that, you can't put all of this into an action plan all in 1 year. So these are things that we're having to take elements of, build it into the action plan, and make sure that we have stuff that we're kind of focusing on for future as well. But people are really wanting better visibility in the organisation. They want better senior visibility in the organisation from LGBTQIA plus leaders. They want to make sure that there is a safe and inclusive environment. They do want better education for the wider organisation, but they also want to see some sort of training stuff that's specifically for them as well, to help them to develop. They want to make sure that we're involved in that policy and practice changes. It goes without saying, we know that we need to have a trans and non-binary focus on the work that we're doing. We know that these folk within our community are having the worst experiences currently. But also LGBTQIA plus people of colour as well.
Beep, 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 beep. Right, we're off again. Next part. Right, now listen. Before we start, to some of you gizzard-flapping cluckers out there who aren't happy because I'm taking my time with this, it's because I'm busy, all right? This is my biggest teaching week in terms of the Warrior Teachers. So it's 4:30 in the damn morning, right? So I'm, trying to get this out to you as fast as I can. But I'm also cognizant of the fact that the devil's in the detail. So please, although I know that some of you may be gagging, just wait, right? We'll do it a bit at a time. It's not going anywhere. No rush. I'm doing it as fast as I can. So stop flapping your gizzards and driving me up the bloody wall, right? Okay. So you've heard a little bit more from our friend Mel there. Let's think about what it was she said. I mean, you sit here and think, what exactly does all this mean? Because they're actually saying very little, but making huge statements that I think are not necessarily true for a start. But we'll see. So member survey. Just mention a member survey, right? About visibility. We asked the members what they wanted. In other words, the tail is wagging the dog. We asked the members what we wanted. The members of what? This word members bothers me, right? They're all employees of the NHS, but now they're members of a separate group. That's what's important to me here. There's something wrong with that. And they want more visibility in community building. Really? I mean, how could these people be any more visible? Perhaps we should, execute a few and stick their heads on pikes. They'd be visible then, wouldn't they? Let's go medieval on their ass. But what we're seeing here is this need for these people to have attention. To I want attention, I want attention, I want attention. And I do genuinely think it's the tail wagging the dog, but you can let me know what you think. So they asked the exec sponsor, what the exec sponsor said, what would good look like to you? Why is he asking? Well, that's appeasement. What he should have said was, we're closing you down. It's just appeasement to these people. So then they asked the group, what does a good exec sponsor look like? And they came back with, we'd like a safe and inclusive environment. Safe from what? Again, the same nonsense that we see time and time again, you know. So then they want more education and awareness. So they want, this is the interesting bit, and I hope you caught it. You can always go back and have a look, can't you? They want better education for the wider group. Well, I mean the NHS generally. They want better education for the what? What do they want better education for people in? Using pronouns? Pretending trans and non-binary is real? Or perhaps helping people who are QTPOC? Or get involved in Hobbit Day? What training do they want? What they mean is they want their belief and their demands to be taken on board by the wider NHS without any argument. They don't mean we want better education and awareness. What they mean is we want to indoctrinate more people and scare more people into not speaking up about this utter, abject, lunatic cult. That's what I think it is. But you can let me know. Then they want training specifically for them. Well, Mel didn't say what it was. What do we mean by training specifically for them? Activist training? Because that's what it's going to be. Activist training? Is it training in how to become an activist? Because it's more than likely that's what it's going to be. That's what these drop-in centres are about. Really, training specifically for them. And then they want to be involved in policy and practice changes. And as Mel said, you know, we only have as much power as the organisation gives us. Why the hell is she talking about power? I thought this was a supportive thing. It's not a supportive thing, by the way. Why the hell is she talking about power? Well, because that's what they want, power, and they mustn't be given it. And that's why they need to be disbanded. And then, of course, intersectionality raised its ugly head again. And finally, we have the trans and non-binary focus, because they're having the worst time of it at the moment. Are they? Or what? Pretending you're something you're not, demanding things from people that they don't want to give you, and putting your back behind an authoritarian, hard-left, neoliberal, identitarian cult, which is anti-science, anti-reality, child-harming, and homophobic and misogynistic. Yeah, I think it's possible that when you do that, you might have the hardest time. It's not a hard time because you're trans and non-binary. Nobody believes in that bollocks anyway. You're getting the hardest time because you are vile, because your belief system is vile, because you are authoritarian, and because you are gender-addled grievance gerbils. And then, of course, Mel pops in. And of course, we need to deal with LGBTQIA, people of colour. That's what we're going to focus on. Honest to God. What colour? Purple? People of colour. Do you think they've got a chart? How black is she? Well, number 4. Not really black. That's too white adjacent. This is the lunacy of critical race theory being dragged into this, which again goes to prove what I said earlier, that the LGBTQIA has got nothing to do with the LGBTQIA as they define it. This is actually simply a activist group hiding in plain sight in the NHS, funded by the NHS, with its own specific liaison with upper management. It has to stop. But should we keep going? Let's just do a bit more and see what else we can find, and exactly how mad does this get? Keep watching.
So Tasha asked me to talk a little bit about what we've done in the network as well, and this was something that we shared as part of the member survey. So I thought it might be helpful to be able to share here in terms of a you said we did, but then we added an extra bit, which is the we will. So we may have done some stuff, but it doesn't mean that we're stopping there, and we'll continue to kind of do stuff. So that whole thing around promoting safe spaces, we're doing that. All of the things that I've already mentioned, we're introducing that queer safer space. People want networking and social events. It's really interesting. People say they want social events, and then when we set them up, no one turns up for them, which is a real challenge, right? I'm sure other people have those experiences as well. And this is why we want to make contacts within regions so that we can really link people up. And actually, that's maybe something that we can do, where we can link across to NHS Trust networks as well, because then you've got more possibility of being able to link that in. So we do have some ideas. We also have an idea for an annual face-to-face event. This has been supported by our exec sponsor. Just haven't had time to really think about it. It's probably the next thing that I will be thinking about, trying to organise for later on this year. And it will be a part sort of business kind of thing. So there'll be some speakers. It will focus on, LGBTQIA plus inclusion, but there will then be a second part to it for those that want to have a bit more of a social thing attached to it. We know that the organisation and the wider NHS is lacking in being able to access inclusion training around LGBTQIA plus awareness. And hopefully lots of people already know that there was a module that was created that was available on e-learning for healthcare that was removed under pressure from the last government. We continue to lobby the organisation to be able to reinstate it. We will continue to do it. I have said in multiple places, it's probably the hill that I will die on, mostly because I co-wrote it along with Lizzie Strater from the LGBT health team. I'm hoping that we're edging closer to it, but it's been taken down now for well over a year. So it's definitely an area of difficulty. Somebody said in their feedback in the member survey, there's nothing going on in the network, which was a little bit wounding. And I then went off and did a whole, right, what have we actually done? And so I worked out from February 2023 to about May 2024, we'd shared over 30 personal stories from various network members across different diversity days. We'd arranged over 15 different events, and we'd put additional comms out for over 15 different diversity days, as well as doing monthly meetings, as well as putting in additional support sessions when stuff was happening in the outside world. That doesn't feel like nothing going on in the network. It may not be the thing that you want. And I think if the network is not doing stuff that you want, there is a process that you're able to, there's an anonymous form where you can contact us at any point to tell us you should be doing more of this or stop doing that. We're always wanting to hear from members. We have, it says here that we're going to look at using Yammer. We've started to do that. Yammer, also called Viva Engage. There's a group on there that was created way before us. That's a Rainbow Network one. It's an NHS-wide group. We have joined that, and we're trying to breathe some life into that and having a commitment to post more things on that to try to bring our community together across NHS organisations. People wanted some clarity on the committee and how it works, so we updated our shared purpose, which has details of the committee roles and responsibilities, and shared that. People wanted us to signpost resources and support, and we've done that. We're just waiting for a page on the hub so that we can actually list our resources there. Being consulted about policy change, like I say, we can't make the organisation consult with us, but staff networks collectively have requested a more formal process be implemented by the policy team, and we continue to collectively ask for that, because what we find sometimes is that we're brought in very at the last minute to get involved, and we'd like it to be in a more planned way. Members wanted us to lobby the organisation to have a workplace equality standard that replicates the race equality and the disability equality. It has been promised. It was promised that it was going to start last year. It's now promised that it's going to start this year. We're continuing to lobby for that, but it's at least a year's worth of work off. So it will be a good year, 18 months before we even see that, once that work has started. But I do think it's really important, because currently the organisation doesn't have anything specific in terms of an action plan around LGBTQIA plus inclusion.
Absolutely gets more interesting by the minute, doesn't it? It's quite extraordinary stuff. Let's have a look at what was said there across those 3 slides. Once again, we have the situation where they're talking about nothing going on in the network. That's interesting, isn't it? Nothing going on in the network. Wonder why. So the survey said, I couldn't resist. So what they're saying is that they have the staff survey, and one of the things that came out of the staff survey was that there was nothing going on in the network. All of the stuff I've covered so far is nothing. There's nothing going on the network. Well, does that mean they're completely ineffective? If so, has anybody looked at the efficacy of this? Should it keep going? Does it need to keep going? So that you said nothing going on in the network, we did. Here's what they did. Offering quarterly learning sessions on LGBTQI plus inclusion and trans and non-binary awareness. Nothing going on. Since February 2023, the network has shared over 30 personal stories. I mean, this is all interesting stuff, but 30 personal stories? Really? What's that about? Lived experience, perhaps? It's like it's coded into it, isn't it? Every single nasty little bit of this boondoggle. It's coded into it, right? They've run face-to-face. Part business focused on inclusion and then a social thing, and still people didn't turn up. Nothing's going on in the network. So they're going to look at using Yammer to share info more widely. I can't believe they're still using Yammer, which is this, it's like MSN Messenger. in the NHS, right, where they send information to each other. It's just extraordinary. And they think that they can solve this by linking them across regions and trusts. Now, bear in mind, NHS England, big, huge, right? And that they've been throwing money at this left, right, and centre, and they've been advertising it and sticking it out on comms and using everything else that we pay for to push their political vile agenda, and yet still people aren't turning up. What's going on? I'm quite heartened by that. You heartened by that? Nobody turns up. But it's the poison that it creates. That's the problem. It's not whether people turn up or not. It's the poison that it creates. Right? They're saying that inclusion training is lacking. And then they're worried about an inclusion package that was removed by the previous government. Previous government has no power to remove a training package from the NHS. The NHS has the power to remove the training package from the NHS. I wonder which one it was. Was it one about pregnant people, perhaps? Was it one of those? Or was it the one where non-binary Jesus came into play? Don't know. I've got no idea. We have no idea of knowing what's going on. They wanted some more clarity on the committee and how it operates. So they're putting together a shared purpose, details the committee's roles and responsibilities, but it isn't yet up because they haven't got a page on the internet. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So this module that was moved, they co-wrote with somebody called Lily Streeter, who's a LGBTQ loon in the NHS. Lily Streeter, right? Who's got a degree in contemporary dance. I shall now explain to you the importance of LGBTQ inclusion through the medium of dance. It strikes me as what we've actually got here. We've been selling people shite degrees for years, right? Under social sciences and all the cobblers, right? Gender, tap dancing, whatever it may be. Or we've been selling shite degrees. And these are just people that have got shite degrees, and the NHS has gone, oh, we'll have you. It's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Over 15 different diversity gays monthly meetings and additional support centres that they also want to run for the outside world. World domination will never be enough. They've also got an anonymous reporting tool where the people can tell them what they want them to do. Why have they got an anonymous reporting tool for their membership to tell them what to do? What is that? I just don't. What's going on here? It's absolutely insane. They want a page on the hub and they haven't got one. And then what they want to do is, get this, they want to introduce a workplace standard like you would introduce, like they've got for race and disability. In other words, an internal Stonewall. An internal Stonewall, because they've already got one for race. Disability, already said it. Let's get stuck into that. But they've already got one for race. So they want the same thing again. This is just about power. And interesting that they use the word lobbied. Lobby the organisation to have an LGBTQIA work standard. What does that include? What workplace standard should there be for LGBTQ? So, I know what it'd be. When it be, men must wear pink on Fridays, handbags at dawn. Is that what it's going to be? Billiard tables for lesbians. It's just surreal. The only way you could build that is by using stereotypes. What tampons in the men's? Is that what they want? Is it what they want to treat trans men like they're gay men? It's utterly insane. I just watch it, and the more I watch it and the more I go through it, I find it so utterly surreal. A formal process like they have for race and disability. We are not giving you that because this is simply a political lobby group, but it's one with a very vile belief system attached to it. All right, so that's your lot for today. Go on, I'm knackered. But it's good to be speaking to you as always. If you're enjoying my series and you can help me, please do chuck a few quid in the pot by buying me a coffee, or better still, subscribe to my Substack, and even better still, come and be a warrior teacher. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you with another bit of this in the next 24 hours. Ta-da! Have a grand day.